Hello there. I'm attorney Kelly Longtin from Kelly Longtin Law, and today I want to talk to you about a term that we call Swedish death cleaning. So basically, just cleaning out your stuff as you get older, or if you know that you are terminal and that you will be passing in the near future. But how much stuff is actually too much? Now, most Americans would probably admit that they own too many things. From clothes to electronics to sports equipment to collectibles, the typical U.S. house is stuffed to the brim with items of questionable uses, I would say. Now, on occasion, we commit to decluttering only to get overwhelmed or distracted. Meanwhile, that stuff just keeps piling up. But at some point, it is necessary to deal with everything that we've accumulated over our lifetime. Now, if you do not declutter your house, somebody else is going to have to do it when you later pass away. And this is part of the thinking behind the Swedish death cleaning. It's a morbid sounding practice that is actually quite liberating, both for ourselves and for our loved ones. Now, the average American home contains 300,000 items. By any measure, that is a lot of stuff. Now, the things we own end up owning us is a quote from the movie Fight Club, which touches on how materialism negatively affects us. Research shows that buying more stuff does not make us happy. In fact, the opposite appears to be true. A series of experiments by psychological professor Tim Tasser found that materialism is negatively correlated with well-being. Now, research also shows that 84% of Americans worry that their homes are not organized or clean enough. And 55% of them say the disorder is a major cause of stress for them in their lives. Now, acquiring things triggers reward pathways in the brain that makes us feel good. Shopping or receiving a gift or enjoying a sweet, especially if it's a fattening treat, delivers a dopamine hit that reinforces a cognitive pattern that we then want more. But in the long term, acquisitives can make us feel bad, just like eating bad foods can. Now, to keep things that we own from owning us, we need to use disciplined thinking to help overcome some of our basic desires. Now, counterbalancing the American tendency towards materialism is the minimalist lifestyle trend. Minimalism dates back to an avant-garde art movement that began in the 1960s in New York. Now, as a way of life, minimalism emphasizes living with less and being happy with what you already have. Now, minimalist living went mainstream with the 2010 publication of Marie Kondo's New York Times best-selling book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. It produced the KonMari method of inventorying all of one's belongings and then keeping only those things that spark joy. The successes to the minimalist movement can be seen in Americans, the millennial generation in particular, who have embraced tiny homes, van life, and spending money on good times and not stuff. 78% of millennials, compared to 59% of baby boomers, say they would rather pay for an experience than for those material goods. Now, millennials recently overtook baby boomers as the country's largest living generation, but it is boomers who are the target of the latest chapter in minimalism, the Swedish death cleaning concept. Now, the popular concept in Swedish and Scandinavian culture, Swedish death cleaning was introduced to an American audience with the 2017 release of The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning, How to Free Yourself and your family from a Lifetime of Clutter. Now, in this book, the author, Margareta Magnusson, urges those 65 and older to take part in the practice, which comes from the Swedish word "döstädning," a combination of do, which means death, and standing, which means cleaning. Now, visit storage areas and stop pulling out what's there. Magnusson writes in the book, who do you think will take care of all of that when you are no longer here? Now, the primary goal of Swedish death cleaning is to spare loved ones the burden of clearing out our stuff when we pass away. Now, some people can't wrap their heads around death, and these people leave a mess after them. Did these people think they are immortal, that this stuff would never have to be cleaned up? Now, the author Magnuson recommends categorizing possessions by those that you can easily get rid of, such as clothes you no longer wear, unwanted gifts, and excess kitchen items, and those that you might want to keep, like old letters, photographs, and your children's artwork. You might consider starting in the attic or the basement, where excess items tend to accumulate, choosing belongings that you do not have an emotional attachment to, and moving from large items to smaller items. Now, Magnuson, though, does not emphasize a rigorous approach or definitive approach to these things, or even has a definite checklist. She encourages readers to develop their own method and focus on personal goals for Swedish death cleaning. It's a highly personal exercise that is intended to be uplifting rather than daunting for people. Now, throughout this book, she reiterates the personal benefits of death cleaning, calling it a permanent form of organization that makes your everyday life run a bit more smoothly. And she adds that you might even find that the process itself is enjoyable. Now, it's a delight to go through things and remember their worth, the author writes. Your loved ones, however, may not understand why you would want to undertake something called death cleaning, even though it benefits them, especially if you're still in really good health, and it might disturb them that you're even systematically eliminating stuff from your life in anticipation of dying. So that might be very difficult for family members to understand. But according to the author Magnuson, death cleaning is an important reminder about the impermanent nature of things, ourselves included in all of that. We must all talk about death, she writes. If it's too hard to address, then death cleaning can be a way to start these conversations. There might also be items that your friends and family would rather inherit than see you get rid of. So maybe you want to invite them over to take part in this decluttering journey, and it may make this whole process just go a bit smoother for you and your family. Together, you can sort through things, you can reflect on the memories that they spark, and if they actually want some of these items, you may just want to let them have it. Now, along the way, they may develop an appreciation for minimalism and decluttering. They might even decide to undertake their own death cleaning and receive a wellness boost that becomes part of your legacy. Now, estate planning, like death cleaning, makes life easier for our loved ones after we pass away. An estate plan leaves nothing to chance. It creates a written record of your final wishes that minimizes court involvement and eliminates questions about what you would have wanted. Now, we cannot help you with the death cleaning, but we can help you create an estate plan that simplifies asset disposition for your heirs and that gives you a peace of mind. So if you live in Massachusetts and New Hampshire and you're looking for assistance in getting your estate plan organized as well as decluttering, please feel free to give us a call. I want to thank you for watching. I'm attorney Kelly Longtin from Kelly Longtin Law, where we provide effective estate planning for everyday families located in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. If you found this beneficial, please like and subscribe down below, and you can keep up to date and learn more about estate planning and how it can benefit your family.